Look at this. Crypto scams aren't just isolated rug pulls anymore. We're talking about a multi-billion-dollar industry designed to drain investors worldwide. If you think you're safe, think again, because these scams are engineered to fool even seasoned pros. Let's break down how they're winning and how you can actually fight back. How this growing sophisticated crypto scam industry is unfortunately getting larger. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. And it's something that we should really need to take it more seriously, but at the same time not to push us off from investing in digital assets, because it is that growing digital intelligence economy fit for the 21st century. So just to give you an eye-opener to some of the latest scam techniques that is evolving and getting more sophisticated, I'm just going to run through what those are. So pig butchering, which is scammers, they usually start off with building not necessarily romances, but they try to dress themselves up as financial advisors just to convey that they are experts in the realm of trading and in financial investments, to lure their victims, convincing the victims to ultimately get hold of your funds and then suddenly disappear. That is a typical scam technique called pig butchering, which will never go away. It's always going to be there. The only thing that may change is how they would lure their victims into other websites, fake platforms, exchanges, and all the rest of it, right? So we need to be aware of that. The other one on the list, unfortunately, is around impersonations. Now, we have seen in many social platforms, whether it's on YouTube, X, or other social platforms, impersonate themselves as legitimate public figures, entities, or even government officials or bank employees, as it says here, all with the aim to pressure their victims to send money via crypto for fake fines, taxes, or in order to secure their accounts. So this is, again, very, very important that you need to just veer on the side of doubt and skepticism, which are the ultimate techniques that we have to fight off any sort of crypto scam. So impersonation scams are very dangerous, right? So anything that raises doubt, you just simply need to cut yourself and avoid that and report it to your local authorities. The next one is AI and deepfake scams are becoming more sophisticated, unfortunately. So anything like giveaways or even fake crypto airdrops, right? So scammers, unfortunately, they use the AI, as we do for our day-to-day, to create deepfakes of celebrities or even companies promoting fake giveaways where you must send crypto in order to receive a large amount back. And the other typical one is around corporate infiltration. So deepfakes are indeed used to impersonate even senior management on internal calls in order to trick their employees into diverting payments to a scammer's account or downloading malware. Again, this is very dangerous. The other one on the list, which personally I haven't actually have seen, but depending on other jurisdictions out there, given that we have other ways to take out cryptos, we have crypto ATM teller machines, right? So they are often a component, as it says here, of other scams. A fraudster will instruct a victim to go to a crypto ATM where they live and convert cash into cryptocurrency and then directing the funds to an anonymous wallet controlled by the criminal, right? So again, any sort of instructions, any sort of luring the victims to do something that is wrong or suspicious, that should be triggered as a red flag. Another one that is growing is around fake investment groups. Now, fraudsters do create private group chats, whether it's on Telegram or on WhatsApp, in order to promote fraudulent investment opportunities. Again, this is a red flag immediately, right? No matter how good to be true they may seem, genuine or legitimate, we should just simply stick to skepticism and just do our own background checks. And if necessary, which is something that I've always explained, that is something very simple that you can do immediately and even online, is to resort to your local financial regulators' public website that you need to tap in yourself, not through a link that they may send to you in order to fake you, because these are the public entities, the regulating firms that would ultimately give us the confirmation that we need whether these scamming organizations are scammers or not. I can't stress that enough. Then there are some more pervasive types of crypto scams. Now, given that we are seeing a lot of crypto airdrops, even liquidity mining, yield farming scams, now these are growing unfortunately by the day. These scams promote fake opportunities to earn passive income through providing liquidity to a decentralized finance protocol. Now, these funds are then subsequently stolen. Now, it is true that given the crypto regulations that are coming out and being approved and legislated, we've got the US Genius Act and the Clarity Act, which is close to be signed off, whether it's in this autumn or early next year. And of course, in Europe, we've got the MiCA regulation, which has already been enacted, and other parts of the world that have similar sort of crypto regulations, because ultimately they would help weed out these fake yield farming platforms where they provide these too good to be true 10, 20, 30% APR interest rates if you deposit your own crypto holdings on their platforms, the yield farming platforms, so they can give you those interest payments, right? We're going to be seeing, unfortunately, interim and for some time, unfortunately, these liquidity mining and yield farming scam platforms. So you need to really just be mindful that anything that is non-regulated, so whenever we see crypto exchanges or even yield farming platforms that provide you these too good to be true APR interest rates, you need to, again, resort to your local financial regulator's website or even calling up directly and just do your own checks and balances. Just check with them if these are genuine platforms, if they are registered platforms. That's another important thing. You need to check if they're registered. But they're very simple things that you can do now just to avoid any disappointments once you make these sort of investments in these platforms. Now, just a short break as a reminder, if you're finding this episode adding value, make sure notifications are enabled. We cover Bitcoin, blockchain technology, and real world assets without the noise and the hype. So stay informed and stay ahead. Now, let's get back into today's episode. Now, I have preempted what are the sort of things you can do to protect yourself, but I'm going to go through the list here. As a rule of thumb, and not just with crypto investments, in fact, it's fair to say with every type of investments that we are confronted in our day-to-day lives, we need to be skeptical. So if something seems too good to be true, it probably is, right? Unsolicited offers for high returns are a major red flag. In fact, that's how it should be seen in our eyes automatically. In addition to that, you need to verify the identity of these firms that approach you with these offers. So you need to independently confirm their identity of anyone asking you to send cryptocurrency, no matter how small are the amounts or how large they are. Do not trust the caller ID or even the official looking website and contact the numbers, right? You need to do that legwork and that investigation by yourself using your own resources and source information. As I said, there are many resources out there on the internet, your financial regulators being one of them, and the local police that have dedicated crypto brigades, if you like, that can provide you and corroborate this information for you and indeed verify their identity. So very simple things you can do by yourself. You need to avoid pressure tactics, because this is something that we've all seen in our lives, right? Whenever we get approached by anyone with the latest insurance premium policy, whether it's house insurance, car insurance, or bank offers or loans, or even telco offers. Now, in addition to all of that, we have crypto offers, right? You need to avoid these pressure tactics because legitimate institutions will not threaten you with legal action for not paying immediately. And in fact, this is confirmed whenever they send out to your apps on your phones, like let's say your banking app, they always send reminders that you should never send private banking details or personal information to anyone, right? And the same in TV advertisements, right? We keep seeing public announcements from local government officials where you live. You need to be highly vigilant, never give your personal information to anyone, at least not from public authorities or commercial entities. So this is something that it's out there already. The only thing that we need to do is apply it whenever we get approached by any scammers. So we need to avoid these pressure tactics. The next one we need to do is protect your private keys and passwords in our crypto exchanges apps and even in our self-custody cold wallet storage. So you should never share your private keys or seed phrases with absolutely anyone. Right? The only thing you do need to be concerned about is how to best protect the confidentiality of those private keys and seed phrases. That's the bottom line. And there are many ways to do that. And I've actually passed some recommendations and suggestions in my Crypto Vault podcast series, which I advise you to tap in, as I said before, every now and again, just to find out what's brewing, what is the latest way to keep your sensitive information safe from harm. We need to be cautious of public figures and giveaways. I already talked about impersonations, so I'm not going to repeat there. And then lastly, which perhaps we take it for granted, but given where we are living in a digital economy, it's up to us to educate ourselves. We need to stay informed, as it says here, and rightfully so, about what are the latest scam techniques that we are seeing from these scammers, unfortunately, like the ones that I've just mentioned above, right? So we need to just familiarize as to what those are and always veer, as I said, towards the side of skepticism, be highly vigilant, because now we are becoming more targeted than ever before. This is very important because there is growing recognition now that investing in digital asset wealth is a ticket to success in the future. And scammers know this already. And for that reason, they're investing millions of dollars, sophisticating their scamming techniques to approach their victims in order to steal their seed phrases or lure them to make cryptocurrency payments to their fake platforms. So we just need to educate ourselves and just be aware. I will be publishing quarterly updates as to some other techniques, scam techniques that I'm seeing that would affect digital asset holders. So just tap into that Crypto Vault series where you're going to be seeing these quarterly updates as to some other techniques, which unfortunately will happen. That's all I have for you for today. If you value clarity on Bitcoin, blockchain technology, and real-world assets tokenization, stay alert. Subscribe and enable all notifications to stay ahead of the curve. Share this episode with those who need to understand what's coming, friends, family, and colleagues. This channel aims to deliver insight, no noise, and no hype. Subscribe now.